Thank you to the sponsor of this video, Daikin.
I've got something really cool I want to show you. The HVAC industry is this big behemoth of education, and it's one of the things we try to do on our channel is educate homeowners before they buy a heating and air system, maybe getting a few tips here and there before you spend thousands of dollars might help you in the long run. And this video will be no different. I want to show you something that I think will make a big difference in the purchase of your next HVAC system. But before I get to all of that, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Daikin. They're the largest in the world for a reason. They're who I sold at my company, and they're who I chose when it came time to pick a sponsor for this channel. Daikin was it. But recently they redid their website, and I want to show you something really cool. If you are in the market for a heating and air system, you've got to see what I'm about to show you. They redid their whole website with some really cool features, and one of them I want to show you because it potentially could help you save a ton of money. So let me jump on their website. This is their new revamped site. It's a beautiful site. It's got all kinds of cool features on there. And I want to, before we get to the calculator, just show you a couple things that I think you should check out. Of course, if you need a contractor in your area, you can do that up here. And across the top here, if you make sure it's on the homeowners tab over here, the features will change if you switch to the professionals tab. And I just want to say, if you switch to the professionals tab, that's not something you can do with all companies. Daikin is very transparent. They have nothing to hide, and you're able to see what your local pro can see when he goes to this site as well. So I think that's pretty cool. But if we leave it on homeowner tab, you'll see across the top here, you've got a buyer's guide that we'll come back to in just a moment. Home solutions. They have basically built a website that will help you make your decision. It's not just a website that says, hey, look at me, look at what I'm offering. No, they've got all kinds of stuff on here to show you, hey, here's why you might want to make this decision, or here's a way that you can get more information on this or that. And so it's a very robust website. You can look up warranties here if you have one of their products. Of course, register your warranty, a bunch of different tabs that goes through the company itself, their product offerings, and so on. Going back over here to the buyer's guide, you'll see a bunch of different options, and we're going to do more videos in the future on some of these other ones, some of these other options, such as building your own system. There's also a program that you can use your phone and see what the unit would look like in your home. We'll get to that in the future. But on this video, I want to show you down here. One thing is the repair versus replace calculator. I could see you spending some time there if that's part of your decision. But in this video, we're going to focus on this pricing and rebate calculator. I'm telling you, stick around to the end. What I'm about to show you is huge. Nobody that I have seen is offering what this tool can offer you. So we'll click it here. Okay, so here's our calculator, and you'll see it's a 3-step process here. And if you are a pro, you can also use this. You can use this tool to show the homeowner why you're offering what you're offering. What's a part of that decision? It's not just, hey, here's a couple quotes. Here's a good, better, best. Here's why it's better. Here's the calculator to show you. And so we scroll down and you'll put in your zip code. I'm just going to put in a random zip code here from Colorado, right in the middle of our country, 80301. And then, so it's going to start asking you for what your model numbers are and stuff. And so if you're not sure, you can use the ones that I'm about to plug in if you want. You'll see it will populate. If you just put in a couple digits, if you know what they are, it'll populate a system for you. You may have to get a quote from your local Daikin Pro to know what exactly they're quoting. And then you can use this calculator to make your decision. So take that good, better, best, plug it in, and you'll see the difference here. Our first quote here, contractor quote A, we're going to plug in just a simple 14 SEER system. It seems like in my area, that's what most of the contractors are putting in. So we're going to put in a 3-ton. This is a DZ4. So that's a 14 SEER system with a matching air handler, AMST. And so we don't have a furnace here. We went with an air handler. Our thermostat, we're not sure. Contractor might be putting in a smart thermostat. They may be putting in a a simple thermostat. We're not sure, so we're going to leave that blank there. And we're going to come down, and I'm just going to plug in some numbers, some hypothetical numbers, if you will. So let's just say that.
Now, let me just say real quick, Daikin is not a lender. I'm not a lender. The pricing calculator is for informational purposes only and is not an offer of credit. There is no guarantees that you're going to be able to obtain any financing at the rates that I go over or any other terms that I input into the pricing calculator.
Contractor, let's say they quoted you $10,000 to put that system in. Again, I'm going to just plug in a few numbers. You might be able to get some better rates than what I'm going to plug in, but let's just say that your interest rate is 7%. You're going to put down $0. That will affect this too. If you're planning on putting down, say, $1,000 and then financing the rest, that could play a role here. But for now, we're going to leave it at 0. Your loan terms, we're going to say it's 60 months. Again, that could change. You can put in whatever it is your contractor is offering. And then finally, on this particular system, we're going to say that the contractor is offering no rebates. Now, your contractor they might offer you a rebate, but here's what's cool. So we're going to click compare, and now we're going to put in that better system, right? So we've got our 14 SEER here, and then let's say we've got a DH7, one of the newer Daikin fits. It has ratings up to, I believe it's 18 SEER, but in this scenario, I think we're going to plug it in. I think it should be around 17, 18 SEER. This is the system that your contractor has quoted you. Okay. So we've got our DH7, which is one of the new fits. And they even have DH9s now, which are extremely impressive units, but we're not even going with the best unit out there. We're going with a budget friendly unit here that qualifies for some of the crazy rebates that are out there. And so we've got our DH7 here, no gas furnace. Again, let's say this contractor, he's got to do a communicating thermostat. So we get all the benefits from that. So we're going to do the Daikin 1 Plus. And then again, we're not even plugging in some of this other extra stuff that you could, certainly plug into the calculator. We're going to leave the indoor air quality products blank. And let's just say this contractor quoted you significantly more on this system. Let's say $13,500. Okay. Same interest rate, same down payment, same terms.
And again, I'm not a lender. Daikin's not a lender. This is all for informational purposes only. All these numbers I'm plugging into the calculator are just hypotheticals, and I can make no guarantees. Daikin makes no guarantees on these rates.
But on this system, and I actually know currently that the rebates are a little better than this, but on this one, this contractor is just going to give you $1,000. Okay. And so that could change. Current rebates could change. And that's why I'm just going to go with, a hypothetical number there. Okay. All right. So we're going to come down. We're going to hit get results. And so it's going to calculate all of this out. And so the first thing you're going to come up with is a quote comparison. Now, don't click off yet. I've got some cool things I want to show you that will really change this big time. But for now, we've got a $10,000 system. You're going to finance $10,000. But over here, we've got that $13,500. And then there's the extra rebates kick in that we were talking about. And those, we've got the rebate that's shown up here, but there's some other rebates that kick in as well. And your total amount financed is only a little bit higher now. So we got a contractor that they quoted you a lot more over here, almost, let's see, $3,500 more. And now we're down to just $1,500 more. And both of these systems in comparison to a 13 SEER system, which used to be the norm for many parts of the country and still is for some parts of the country, you will see a significant savings here with any Daikin system, right? Going with even that 14 SEER 2, you've got savings here that you'll see as the years go on, how much savings you would see. If you see that light blue, that's our 14 SEER, how much more savings you get here with that fit. Things can change these numbers, how well the system is taken care of, how often you're running the system, that all these numbers can change. These are just rough math numbers when it comes to the energy savings when you're comparing to, say, that 13 SEER system. So that's really cool. You can kind of see as time goes on what your savings is here. And over the lifespan of this system, you're going to end up saving way more than the cost difference between the two and almost the cost of the system. Going with that better system, it's showing a savings here, $8,064. Coming down a little further though, here's the game changer. You'll see your quotes here. You can kind of see the breakdown and how they came up with those numbers. But finally, below all of that, you see a tab here that Daikin has put in there where they are going to populate some of the rebates that you may have offered locally, whether it's your local power company, localities around you, your state, and even federal rebates that you may qualify for. And there's a tab there. And so if we click there, if we click that, you see with the 14 SEER system, there are currently no rebates. Okay. But if you come back over to that fit, click that, it qualifies for a number of rebates. And so in this example, now obviously you need to verify, you need to check with your local dealer, your local tax professional in some cases, but they are just showing you some of the programs that are out there. And depending on where you're located in this zip code, you could qualify with one versus the other or so on. And you see here, we've got a $5,445 rebate from Excel Energy. It shows you when this rebate expires, when you need to claim it by, and so on. This one is a $2,500 rebate. You need to claim it within 90 days after you purchased it. And as we come on down, you'll start to see more and more rebates incentives that this system qualifies for. The savings could be astronomical. In fact, you could end up, hypothetically, maybe end up with a system that costs you very little, if anything at all. And so you see there, this one's up to 70% of project costs with the county there. So wherever you are in the country, you'll be able to click that and see at least some, if not all, the rebates offered in your area. Really cool tool that they're offering there. I don't know of anyone else that's offering it, at least to this level, and showing you how and why maybe it's better to go with one system versus another. I think this is a game changer. I think that every Daikin dealer should be using this as a tool to show homeowners when they're making this big purchase. That's a big problem, right? Contractors sometimes don't take enough time to show us these things, and this could be a tool that shows a homeowner before they make that big purchase. And again, if you're a homeowner, it's a big decision for a lot of folks. And you see, before even these rebates kick in, with the net monthly costs, one system versus the other, how much you're going to save. If you have any questions after getting all of this, there's also a tab for that. So you'll be able to call and speak directly with an expert from Daikin. You can go up and click call now, and you'll be able to have that conversation, ask some tough questions if you need to. There's the current number. I don't know if it'll change, so I'm going to skim over that, but you'll have that if you need it. If you are in the market for a heating and air system, this is a game changer. This is something that could play a big role in how you make your decision. And we didn't have this tool not long ago, and you were just kind of throwing hypotheticals out there, and you didn't really have good rough math to be able to see what the potential savings are. So what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear them down in the comment section. I do my best to read as many as possible. Thank you again to Daikin for providing this amazing tool and for sponsoring our channel. We're doing our best to help more folks in our industry, and Daikin is at the forefront of that. If you like this video, I think you'll like this one even more. It's where I share some of the mistakes homeowners make in the summertime. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button for more HVAC tips. We'll see you next time.